Hey everyone. Hello everyone. Happy Friday. Oh my gosh, it's Friday. As you are jumping on here, you guys, I've got my comments popped up. Jump in and say, hey, let us know where you're coming in from. My name is Jennifer Piper Kennedy. I live in Kamloops, BC. I am not in an office yet. I'm actually building an office. So I'm in my dining room and you can't see it, but those are the mountains behind me, you guys. So I wish you could see it, but really, really pretty. And I have Dr. Phil Sledz on here with me, and he's coming in from Austin, Texas. Hey guys. So as you're jumping in, let us know where you're coming from, what's going on. Happy Friday. So you guys, we are here today to talk about those dang aging enzymes. Like if aging wasn't bad enough as it is, and all the other things that go on that age us, now there's enzymes that can also come in and do the same. And so I actually wanted to talk to Dr. Phil about that today, about like, what can we do, right? Because I think that, well, this is my personal opinion. I think that I like to fight aging every step of the way and do whatever I can on the inside, on the outside. I supplement. I use like really good quality skincare. I take care of my skin. I do skin treatments. Do whatever I can to kind of fight it every step of the way. And I'll say, like, I'm all about results, right? Because I like results going on here. So I want to
the classic. That's the classic. Right? Your signature move. That's the signature move.
Isn't Madonna like that? Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit today about that, you guys. And just again, so let's start. So Dr. Phil, let's start with that. Like, again, I'm about results. I'm about, learning a little bit of the science behind it. Like, I love when we do these lives because it just it makes me go, oh, okay, that's why this is the way it is. So let's start with these freaking aging enzymes. Like, what are they? And maybe you can kind of educate us on this.
Sounds great, Jen. Hey, great. Thanks. It's always fun connecting with you. And yeah, I can't pull that off as well as you can, just for the record. You got that move down, so I'm not going to ever try to duplicate that. It wouldn't have the same flavor. Yeah, we're here. It's warming up, so we're happy to be in short sleeves down here in Austin. We're 22 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
Nice.
So, speaking being a pilot, I have to be able to speak a little bit about. So 74, 75 for the Fahrenheit friends here. So we're happy to be warming up now down here finally in Austin, Texas. And yeah, we the fun thing about this, Jen, is when we have these talks, I always do a little digging too. And I'm always learning new things. And I had my seminar last week for my CEs, for my accrediting requirements that we have to do to have my doctoral license every year. And I'm going to share some tips, some things I learned from that pertain to connective tissue, which is in our skin and joints, pertains to aging and all these cool things. And so there's always new things out there. And that's the fun thing about this whole process, is learning new things and then getting to share them. So it makes you think about things differently. So
yeah, what we can do about it, right? I love it. So I love it. And it's 10 degrees here today, I'll just say. So I was actually in Arizona a week ago, and it was cold weather there. It was very sad for me because the first day was warm, but then it was their cold weather, and I actually had to wear a jacket, which was so weird. But back to like the cold, but it's 10 degrees today. It's beautiful. It's sunny outside, as you can see. Okay, so tell us about the aging enzymes.
Sure can. And I hear we've already got questions coming in already. At least wow, it's like before we even got on, the questions are coming. Wow. So that's great. So I'll let you referee as many of those as you can.
I'll take a peek.
Right. So yeah, we really have when it comes to our aging joints and skin, primarily there's two enzyme groups. The collagenases, which break down collagen, and then the hyaluronidases, which break down hyaluronic acid. And so if you're new, just as a quick review, collagen is that super strong fiber. It's in our joints and connective tissue and our skin. It gives it the tensile, elastic effect that we want, making our skin, supple and elastic, and our joints strong, basically. And then the hyaluronic acid, which is broken down by hyaluronidases, that hyaluronic acid holds hydration in our tissues and in basically our joints, anywhere there's water in your body. organs, glands need it. Your skin needs it. Your joints, it's part of the super slick, we call it synovial fluid, which is the super slick lubricant that makes your joints glide together. And as we lose that, we become stiff. So it works very importantly in your joints. And then in your skin, of course, it gives it the supple look. So it hydrates and fills. So we want to have those things.
Yeah.
Those enzymes break them down.
Girls, it keeps us looking young.
Basically, in a nutshell, yes, it keeps you looking young and feeling young.
Yeah,
you want to feel young too. And and again, the two most abundant substances in the body. So having those things working against you is really what we don't want to do. So how do we counteract those? First of all, we want to be able to supply it in the body in a way that our body can use it. That's basically the simple solution. We want to just not get that in our body, but we want to have it in a form that our body can use and recognize, meaning it's made absorbable. That's the key. And then the other thing too is antioxidants. So antioxidants delay and slow down and inhibit those enzymes that we talked about. So collagenase. So that's why it's very important in a delivery system, at least in my opinion, to have with it and then taking on top of that and then getting through the diet. I have all my peers watching me. So we know that we emphasize diet. We want to emphasize the supplements are an added complement to what we have going on in our health and trying to mitigate aging and longevity and so forth like that. So we want to bring in antioxidants. I was looking up a couple, flavonoids, flavanols, things like that are very rich, at least in one of the things that you and I share with our clients is very important, and it slows those enzymes down. So we want to add that back in. And yeah, that's kind of it. In a nutshell, those are the enzymes, and we want to delay it, and we want to get those other things in, the hyaluronic acid and the collagen, in an absorbable form in our body so we can elevate them.
So if I think about those two major aging enzymes, one kind of basically is degrading your collagen, one's degrading your hyaluronic acid. Okay, I like it. Okay, so let's talk collagen, because we love collagen. And I think that what I'll say is you cannot open social media without being bombarded with collagen, like new collagen. And like everywhere I look, I see it. And I see a lot of, I will say, like, ours has been 10 plus years, 7 international patents, 37 clinical studies. Where I live in Canada, you guys, it actually says on our bottle that it aids in pain associated with osteoarthritis of the hip and the knee because of the studies. So we're seeing like a lot of collagen out there. And I think that what happens is people start seeing these like comparison charts and it gets super confusing, right? So let's talk about collagen. Like, what are the most important types? And because again, it's nonstop right now. So let's break that down.
Yeah, it's like, it is amazing. No one ever predicted this, that when this ingredient kicked off the collagen revolution 10, 11 years ago, that we'd see it to this extent. And it's, we keep saying it's only going to get bigger because that's all the indications say, and it is still going to get even bigger. So I think it's important to know what we want to look for in a collagen product or HA product, and why. So the main, as a review, for you and I, at least, the main collagen types that your body really needs are types 1, 2, and 3. I'm getting in front of the camera here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And that comprises 90% of your body's collagen network. And so that's why it's most important to have that, and a lot of the collagen types will boast other types, 4, 5, 8, 12, I think to types 26 or something like that. But the bottom line is that you gotta have types 1, 2, and 3, but you have to have them in a form that's proven to be absorbable too, because if you can't elevate them. So that's the key. I have yet to find a type out there that can say the P word here, proven to elevate. Wow. So when you see claims, that's very important. So like you look at it, it'll say reduces the appearance of wrinkles, fine lines, creases. Reduces, I've never seen any say anything about joints like the one that we have. So when most of them are focusing on the skin aging, which is important, that's important to have that. But if you can't use the word proven, then you don't have the allowance through your regulatory agencies, like you have yours in Canada, and yours is, like you said, been approved for like a sort of I don't want to misspeak on this, but like a medical like involvement. It's a quality assurance that you guys have.
Yeah.
That makes it allowed in the Canada health system. Down here in the United States, we have certified GMP. So that lends to that, which in turn it goes across the border up to you guys. Good manufacturing practices is a very stringent FDA certification where you come in and you assay it. So the FDA sends in agencies, they test it, make sure it's there, and it's working, and it's not broken down. Okay. It's not oxidized, it's not destroyed, because they're testing it at all three phases of the raw ingredients, the manufacturing, and the final phase. So it's all intact and it comes out. So that's what lends to the ability for us to say those things. And again, going into those types, just to break those types 1, 2, and 3 down, how they fall out in your body. Types 1 and 3 primarily for hair and skin, and a little bit of type 2, in there. And then type 2 primarily for joints and connective tissue. And if connective tissue is a new word for you, that's tendons, ligaments, discs, your bursa.
Surrounding the joint.
That's right.
Okay, so this is key actually. So when you say 90% of our collagen is types 1, 2, and 3. So when other companies are coming out with these other types, you think that's only 10% of what your body has anyway. So, why not focus on? And I will say too that, what was interesting is when I started using the collagen, I didn't have any joint issues. And so I remember kind of thinking like, well, whatever, it's a bonus, right? And all the antioxidants, I knew that would be a bonus for my body. But what I've noticed as I've aged is I think I'm aging so much healthier. Like if I have an injury, right, I'm kind of recovering quicker. I don't have as much muscle soreness. I don't have as much creakiness, which that's the official scientific term when you turn 48, the creakiness, but things like that, where I didn't have joint issues, but there were all of these things that I was like, oh, and then you start noticing little things like that. And I think that, again, as we age, when we look at joint health does go down, like substantially, right? So to me because I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't really have that yet. And that was me. But then I look at, I think of it as I'm just helping myself age so much healthier than I would without it, right? And now I'm starting to see the results and starting to sort of feel the results, which I'm so grateful that I took it.
I can't tell you how many clients, it's a great share right there in so many ways. And I can't tell you how many clients that are of our age group here that would say, or I've heard from them say, I wish I would have started this earlier. Well, it only came out this many years ago. It wasn't around when we were kids. Wish it was, but it wasn't. So, you hear that. And, something, I just wanted to go back to something just real quick on the enzymes, the collagenase that breaks down the collagen, something that we talked about in our seminar. One of the little things that we learned as a reminder for us is that steroid injection, there's a lot of drugs that actually accelerate those enzymes that we wouldn't know about. So steroids we use for medical use to decrease their medicine. So it's medical we're talking about. That's pain, decreasing pain. And yet one of the things that it does is it can accelerate that enzyme in breaking down your body's collagen, which is why it makes sense, because we have a limit to those amount of injections we can give in the body, many medications. So there's a lot of things that we're doing that are, like you said, talk about the creakiness, the hurts, the aches, the things like that we're doing medically that can actually be accelerating these things and hurting us. So that's why it's good to address the cause. This is really addressing the cause. We're going in and focusing at the causal level, and we're working with the body, which is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. And I mean, I've noticed a difference in my hair, my nails, 100% the skin. Like when I look at photos of myself, even 5 years ago. So I've been on the collagen for 4.5 years, 5 years till now. It's a dramatic difference. And it's not just the fine lines. It's like the health of my skin. When I go for a facial, my esthetician is always like, she says this to me, your skin is very spongy and it bounces back. And again, I'm 50. That's when you start to not have a lot of bounce back. And so, when you hear other, estheticians and that sort of thing complimenting you on your skin and your sponginess, I'm always like, that's the collagen. Like, I know that's the collagen. My gums. And that was something that I wasn't expecting. My gums have have really dramatically improved using that. So, I mean, I think of it, there's so many areas in our body that it really can help. So, okay. So
can I comment on that? I was raising my hand. That's just us too. I had to raise my hand anyway. So anyway, the gums. So gums are really rich in hyaluronic acid. So that's one of the effects. I have a dentist that comments on that. That talks about that's seen that with the product. So when your gums start to break down and shrink, if we'll say that, that's a loss of hyaluronic acid in there. And then the hair. Hair is a big thing that we really haven't talked about too, but that again requires the types 1 and 3 collagen. And collagen's used to both not just complete the building blocks or the anatomy of the hair strand, but also it helps build the follicular cup that holds that strand in place. So people right now I've been reaching out asking about that. So that's one of the things, how the mechanism, I guess, as to how it helps with supporting healthy hair on your head. So.
And so again, when you just the gums, I didn't know that about the hyaluronic acid, but again, that's why I think that a lot of copycat companies, let's use that loosely, that are out there that are kind of coming out with collagen, because it's like the collagen bandwagon time of the season and everyone's coming out with it. But that's the other thing, is like how important the hyaluronic acid component is. And I didn't realize that until you said that. But I remember when I went to my dentist, he was like, okay, what is because so I basically had to get periodontal like grafting on half of my mouth. And I just started taking the collagen, which is just, I wish that I had known about it earlier, because it would have saved me $3,200 on half of my mouth. But I've never, ever had to go get my other side done because of taking that. So I didn't know the hyaluronic acid component though. But again, that's such a key component to our matrix that I think a lot of companies are just trying to kind of like come out with collagen and they're missing the whole matrix, right?
Right. Or they're trying to build it from different parts because they don't have a complete matrix molecule. So they're taking it from here, they're taking it from there. And these are really, they're coming from incomplete sources. But again, let's go back to the real issue. The real issue is absorption. And whenever someone says something or questions a claim on absorption, well, they don't have the proof. So I just want to give you a size comparison. So it's, this collagen peptide that we're using, it has to be shrunk. That's the first and foremost. People can take a lot of collagen out there, but if if it isn't modified for absorption, it's going out into the toilet. That's where most of it goes. It passes through the bowel. So you're paying money for something, but you're not really getting it into those tissues. So it has to be shrunk by, it's roughly 150 to 200 times. So you don't have to know the term kilodaltons to understand the analogy here, or the numbers I'm throwing out, because this is one size is 1.3. Okay, 1.3 to 1.5 compared to others that are unmodified, 200 to 300. And then we can throw on the term kilodaltons because that's how we measure it. But you don't have to worry about that word. So 1.3 to a range of 200 to 300. So you do the math and you can calculate the size difference for that real easily. And
size
that's
matters.
Size matters. Now, some of the hydrolyzed forms can get it down to in like 50 to 30 range. But again, take the 1.3, divide into, you still, that's massively, we're talking times upon, times smaller R's compared to that. Yeah. So it's still a very large factor. And that's what has to happen. I was just, I'm seeing more terms being thrown around. Okay. If I can throw this out to you, micronized is now a term I'm seeing more of. And micronized, just so people understand, that's a non-specific term. It just means that you've made the diameter of something smaller. That's it.
Oh. So it's just smaller.
There's not a numerical value, and sometimes when you ask people, okay, what's the molecular weight, which is really the size, they don't know. Now, maybe someone does, but I haven't, if you ask for it, they don't give it to you. They don't know. Someone should know. Someone should know. But again, the patents, going back to what you said, the industry awards, the patents, that all is based on, mountains of research. You don't just get a patent for saying, hey, I want a patent, and then you apply and like, oh, here you go, because you said it was unique. It is a arduous process to get one patent, and here we're talking about 7. So, yeah,
love it. Okay, so micronized. What else is out there?
Okay, good point. Another term I heard is liposomal. So liposomal has started to enter. It's been big in the drug industry for many years, and now it's starting. It has been more common to show up in the supplement industry. So liposomal means it's wrapped in a layer of fat. Wrapped in a layer of fat. Now, there is a connotation that people can take away that it is smaller, and yes, they can make it small with that. But again, it's wrapped in fat. So there's a couple things. If you don't have good fat absorption, that's a problem. And there's a lot of people missing in the Western world gallbladders. You need a gallbladder to have proper fat absorption, and you need a healthy liver to have good fat absorption. So if you don't have those things, then liposomal doesn't really give you any added benefit. The other thing, this is the bigger thing. So the bigger point about liposomal is again, it's wrapped in fat. So the limiting feature of having a liposomal delivery is what it's wrapping. Okay, so let's use an analogy here. Okay, let's say you're going to wrap a basketball. Okay, one size collagen. Okay, an unmodified size collagen would be a basketball. That would be in that 200 to 300 range we just talked about. And you're going to wrap it with fat. Okay, so that's what you have. You got a pretty big object. Ours, on the other hand, by comparison, would be like a BB or a pea. Okay, making it that much smaller. So again, you could wrap that in fat. So again, the limiting feature isn't that.
No, still the size.
It's not automatic. It's not automatic because what it really focuses on is the size of what you're wrapping it in. Okay, what you're wrapping, which is the size of the collagen peptide. If the collagen peptide is not small enough, you don't absorb it, and it doesn't reach the target tissue. So just because it's wrapped in fat does not guarantee it's going to get there. Because again, going back to the basketball, compared to the size of the pea or the BB, then it's a big size difference. Okay, as far as the absorption.
Can liposomal be absorbed under the tongue?
Only if it's a certain size. Again, going back, good question. Only if it's in that really small range. So we know the size range, how many kilodaltons something can be, and we have that. So that's one thing that we can say. That's one thing we can say. So when people say, "Hey, does this absorb or does it not?" You can say that. And there's not even all drugs can do that because they're not that small. So this is very unique, having something so small that we can say. And again, going back to the P word, proven, you can say proven to, and then all those different types of claims it can make with skin wrinkles, creases, fine lines, and proven to reduce joint discomfort and stiffness. So.
Well, and I that's something I coach all of my clients that use our liquid biocell is I'm like, swish it in your mouth for a little bit because you do get that absorption. And I always think to me, the fact that we can start it there is pretty spectacular, right?
Right there, yeah.
Just one more thing. Okay, so that is very clear to me. It's the size, you guys. So I think that's a really, really big takeaway. So number one, the type of collagen. Number two, the fact that it's the matrix. Number three, it's the size of the molecule. So let's talk a little bit, because a lot of times people ask us about our source and where we source our collagen. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So it's ours is from the sternum of chicken. Is what we're using. And again, the sternum is a big area. So you can take it from many areas of the sternum. Ours comes from a very small area, the tip of the wishbone. So it's a very unique area. And in that area, it was shown to have all the constituents that make up human connective tissue in very closely resembling the right ratios. So that would be the types of collagen that would be having chondroitin. Okay, This is something else. I mean, I get really giddy about it because in my world, I work with people with a lot of joint issues, but chondroitin is a big thing. And chondroitin got kind of poo-pooed many years ago because people took lots of chondroitin when they had all kinds of joint issues, and then they wouldn't get results. So chondroitin in this form is part of the patents. It's called depolymerized. Okay, we're using big words again, but just keeping it simple. It's a unique form that you can't get anywhere else. So they've shrunk it again. The form depolymerized, just like our hyaluronic acid is a low molecular weight, I'm sorry. And so it has hyaluronic acid, it's got chondroitin, it's got the types of collagen, if you're envisioning like the pie graph, and it has some MSM in there, there's a little silica, there's all these other naturally occurring ground substances that complete it. So you're getting this complete, it's kind of like a multivitamin in a way for your body to work in those areas. And that's what makes it unique. So again, the matrix molecule, as opposed to pulling it from other sources like hooves and hides and skins and carcasses and things like that. So you have it all packaged.
That just sounds so awful. Okay, I've also, let's talk a little bit. Ours stimulates cartilage cell activity, and I think that this is a super important thing. So can you talk to that?
Yeah, that is another thing that was proven in the original study. So there's 37 trials, and they did one group. These are outside groups, so these are not in-house. That's the cool thing. So these are all done with independent review boards, or as we call IRBs in healthcare. And so they come in and they're an outside group that has no vested interest, and they look at this and they study it and set the study. So they were able to demonstrate increased cartilage, and it was surmised through the increasing of cartilage cell activity. Something that was cool that we talked about in our seminar this last weekend is because we're getting all those ingredients that we just mentioned in the matrix, like the hyaluronic acid and all these things, but a lot of it has to do with the hyaluronic acid. So the collagen fibers are and cartilage cells. So cartilage cells have collagen, and they have all these different things in them. They're wrapped in I said filled in the spaces with hyaluronic acid. But when you rub two cartilage cells together, they have 1/15 of the friction of rubbing two pieces of ice together when they're naturally occurring and healthy. And that's important because, again, we look for how we feel when we age, and people talk about that stiffness that happens and having healthy cartilage cells. So with this, we're able to increase the cartilage cell activity in there and increase the cartilage content is what they showed in the study. And so again, going back to the unique properties of having this there. So
yeah, which I mean, that, and as people age, I think the most common thing I hear people say is, "Oh, it feels like I'm bone on my knee," like that sort of thing. Would that be a result of the cartilage deteriorating?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's when people say that. And what's interesting too, we used to have Dr. Brady. He was the orthopedic surgeon that pioneered hip replacement in our company, and he shares some of his videos here. So kind of a big resume to have for a medical doctor. And when he said he used to operate exclusively on knees and hips primarily. And what he says is that he said whenever he looked at all these clients who had been diagnosed with bone on bone, when he opened them up, inevitably he would find more cartilage in there than what they had shown on X-ray or whatever imaging they used. I thought that was interesting. So when we hear that term, we're thinking just like two bones grinding together, and they could be close, but there's usually a little bit more soft tissue in there than a lot more than what they're saying and what they're seeing. So interesting.
I love it. So, I mean, again, let's go back to I feel like it would be confusing as a consumer trying to sort of wade through all the information, and you're looking at comparison charts with all sorts. And I've seen all sorts of charts out there, and, kind of what I always lean on, as I'm not a scientific doctor, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not any of that. But what I always lean on is the science that the product has been built on, right? The fact that we have the patents, the fact that we have the 37 clinical studies, the fact that we have more awards, multiple industry awards than anyone else out there. And the fact that we have the history, again, 11 years. I've been on this product for 4.5 years. How long have you been on it? You're way long.
About 8 or 9. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, the fact that we have multiple industry awards that we lean on, and that's always what I use. I think that we're going to see more and more and more collagen companies out there, and I think that it's such a kind of a household name now, where 5 years ago it wasn't. But that's my favorite thing is I'm like, oh, you want to see a few awards? Okay, we got this and this and this and this and this and this and this, right? Like it's nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah. If I can go back to, because we had hit that enzyme, we talked about things with the collagenase and hyaluronidase. And one of the unique things that we can say also, going to the hyaluronidase groups of enzymes, that the form of hyaluronic acid used here can actually inhibit the hyaluronidases, and that lends to it's an exponential increase in hyaluronic acid in the body. So it's not just, it's one thing that I keep getting my hand placement wrong. So one thing that you have it in an absorbable form so that you can absorb it. So you're getting the HA into the body. Number two is that it's inhibiting the enzymes, breaking it down. So you get this compounded effect or benefit where your HA levels will go up at a very high rate. And again, HA is responsible for hydration. So you're working against those enzymes that way. You're working against the enzymes with that low molecular weight hyaluronic acid. You're working against those enzymes that are causing you to age with flavanols and antioxidants, which of course we're really big on with that. So all these things play a very important role in getting that benefit in the body. And again, that's another one of those things we can say proven. And when we say it on the low end, 6,000%, 6,000% elevation in 28 days. The high end, which we don't claim because it's the high end, was 9,000%. We can say it, but we keep the claim at the lower, more conservative end of 6,000% or 60-fold compared to the other ones. It's a big range.
And again, where can you get 6,000% increase? And yeah, we titled this is how to counteract those aging enzymes, and we get so excited about liquid biocell that we get on all these tangents. But you guys, that is something when I remember when I was learning about this product and I read that it inhibits the hyaluronidase, I was like, okay, wait, like back it up a bit. Okay, so it's inhibiting the enzyme that's going to make me age, in addition to adding all this goodness, right? So you're adding all the goodness, and then you're, again, basically, like, in my mind, blocking the aging enzyme. Like, hallelujah, right? It's like the trifecta. I love it. Okay, well.
There's a lot of things in general. I know in the way to discuss it, it's really simple. The way you discuss it with people and the way I discuss it in my office with people, it's, a lot of people are taking a lot of different things, and I just say, take the Pepsi challenge. Take the Pepsi challenge, take a 90-day trial. Just keep it simple. And it doesn't have to be over complex. Sure, we're talking about a lot of detail here. That's not the normal conversation you have with people. They'll go way over their head. But in building understanding, we're just building understanding here about this and how that interacts with the body. It's really it. So bottom line is, yeah.
And I always look to, the other thing that really, to me, it's your clients, your customers tell you, right? So, the fact that I've been doing this for 4.5 years and I have had clients who have been on this product for 4.5 years straight, that says everything to me, right? Like, they're getting results. You're not going to keep using something that isn't giving you the results that you're looking for. And so that says everything. And not just like 3 customers. Like, I have many customers, and that's their, every single month, that's their product. And I'm one of them. My whole family, my mom, my dad, my brothers. I believe in it so much. So should we switch gears a little bit and talk about, so you guys, we are heading into our annual conference.
Yeah, you've got some insight here that I've been trying to get a hold of. And I know there's very few select. You're in the secret club because there's something big. There's something big coming here next week. So I'm going to see you in Salt Lake.
Yes.
I'm going to see your whole entourage. I know that. And so something big is coming, and you've got some insight for that, don't you?
Yeah, you have to sign like non-disclosures and all, but what I'll say is we're launching a new product line that I've been using, and it's to me, it's something, again, I will never miss. Like, it is now going to be, I took it to Arizona with me. I packed it, I took it everywhere. And again, it's kind of one of those launches that it's going to be a game changer and good for everyone. And then the other part of it, though, you guys, is like, we talk a lot about products because we love, again, the liquid biocell line. I will use it for the rest of my life. But what is really cool is there is a business attached to this. And I think a lot of times people are like, I don't really get, I just had a good friend of mine. She's like, I don't really understand. What do you do? And how do you do it, kind of thing. And what I love, though, is, our company is very, I'd say they're like the forward thinking out there, like trying new things before anyone else does it. we're becoming a household brand right now. We just sponsored a Formula One racing team, you guys, which so pumped about that. But we're becoming a household name, and I think that that's really exciting, right? And it's e-commerce, direct to the consumer, and we're becoming a household name. But it is a business, which is really cool. And what we're launching next weekend basically takes it to another level. Already our customers are like raving fans, and they get a coupon and they can share it with their friends and stuff. And the company rewards them with free credits to go shop. And it's been truly amazing, but we're like up leveling that, and it's going to be even more exciting. And so I was actually watching the other day, I'm pointing to my TV. I don't really watch the news a lot anymore. And it was like a morning show, a Canadian morning show filmed in Toronto. And they had an entire segment on tax breaks for side gigs. And I was like, okay, this is different. So, and they said, like, I can't, the stat they gave is like, I can't remember how many people are doing side gigs. And so why we're kind of excited about this is what we're seeing really over the last year and a half, 2 years, is so many people are either changing what they're doing or adding something else. And what we have coming next week is just going to make that whole process 100 times easier, 100 times better. And just, it's going to be one of those moments where you'll be like, oh yeah, I was in the room, or I was on a Zoom for that, and kind of one of those things. And so I'm super excited. That's all I can say, but it's going to be good. And I'll flat out say, like, if anyone's even thinking about this, is like, if you're hearing us and you're like, hey, I could use that product, and so could 10 of my friends, you need to take a look. Like, that's just how it is. You need to come take a look and reach out maybe to whoever shared this with you. But it's going to be exciting. And that's all I can say.
If you know, 2.0. 2.0. That's all I can, so yeah, it's and they've shared a lot, and the thing is too, there's in this social sharing world too, we have a lot of customers. A lot of customers out there. And so it makes it easy for customers to get benefits, because everyone's looking for ways to cut costs and save and different. And so that it makes it easier. It makes it easier for everyone to consume something that can, it's a tool. It's a tool that I use that people love. Like you pointed out, you have a lot of people that have high reorder rates. We both experienced that. And I think that shares a lot of testimony to how people like this and how they embrace it. So just making that more easy, more shareable in that space for all people. And yeah, it's going to be exciting.
It really is. And I think that, we're on a cusp of some big growth again, which we tripled in 2020, and I think we doubled the year after that. Like, the growth has been just crazy, but it's going even more. But yeah, I would say if you're watching this and you are one of our customers, be very excited, because there's some big perks coming your way, So we're super excited. Well, you guys, it is so good to talk to everyone. Hopefully by the next time we do this, I'll be in my office and have a space that I don't have to worry about people coming in and out. But super pumped, you guys. Hopefully that has given you some insight into the aging enzymes, what you can do about them, and a little bit more about collagen and how to kind of like wade through all the information that's out there. But thanks, Dr. Phil, as always. You explain it in a way that I can understand it, and I can turn around and explain it. So
awesome. That's great.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks for having me, Jen. Always fun doing this.
Okay, guys, take care. Bye.